What is going on, guys, and welcome to my Tracer guide. This video is for everybody who hasn't hit GM yet but also already has some experience on Tracer. If you don't know that she can blink 3 times and has a get out of jail free card, this video probably isn't for you and I suggest checking out another guide, but for anyone who has more than 20 minutes on Tracer, this will be the only guide you'll ever need. So let's start. Tracer has 3 blinks and a get out of jail free card.
Do you know scuba divers roll backwards off boats because if they rolled forwards, they would just go into the boat?
Okay, sorry, I'm just joking. First off, let's take a look at the basic mechanics. If you can't do those, I'm sorry, but you're not allowed to call yourself a Tracer main. All you have to do to perform a blink punch is using melee right before blinking. That way you save precious time in a 1v1 to reload your weapons faster and get that slight advantage over your opponent. There are 3 types of blink bombs. The normal blink bomb, the 180 blink bomb, and the sideways blink bomb. Being able to hit blink bombs consistently is very challenging, but also differentiates a good tracer from a great one. Performing a recall punch is very simple, just press melee and recall at the same time. And even though it's pretty easy, it is still very effective and can make the difference between dying or making it out alive. Plus it looks extremely cool if you can get a kill with it. The most important part of a kit is a pulse bomb. If you can't stick those, you are actively throwing the game, since you would get more value on any other hero by literally just hitting your shots. So you better go to custom games, type in VAXTA and practice sticking those bad boys. Quick tip before you do this, the most consistent way to hit your bomb is to do a sideways blink bomb while fighting. Since your opponents are busy AD strafing, they will strafe right into your bomb. Obviously, the best case scenario is sticking and killing the tank as soon as the fight starts. However, with Kiriko being meta, this is easier said than done. Sure, tanks are an easy stick, but they also have the abilities to completely negate your damage. If you choose to go for a tank, just don't be that tracer that just randomly sticks the tank without counting cooldowns. Supports in general are also a high priority target while being fairly easy to get a stick on, however not really safe with Kiriko being meta, so your best bet is to either isolate a DPS and just stick him in a 1v1 or force a defensive ability with your team, wait for Suzu and then go for a stick, which can be harder than it sounds. Oh, and if you have the chance to stick a Kiriko, do it. There's nothing more annoying than dying to an ability when your whole kit is designed to counter it. Even if the fight's already won, just do it for your ego. Did you ever wonder why good tracers seemingly have infinite blinks? The secret is blink management. The most important rule is to never use a blink if you're not in danger. Sure, it's boring walking slowly around the map, but there are many situations that are impossible to predict, and now you either die because you're missing a blink to the next corner, mini, mega or whatever would have saved your life, or you couldn't secure a kill that would have won you the fight. And all of that just because you were too impatient to walk the short way to whatever you wasted your blink on. You'll also never see those great tracers just spam their blinks in a fight. They will always wait a second and initially do some crouch spamming while shooting or utilizing cover to gain an extra half a second and a free reload before blinking again, which has the effect that once you use all 3 blinks, your 4th blink will be ready, and depending on how good your cover usage was, you can even have your 5th blink ready before running out of blinks. Also, don't waste your recall. A tracer without recall is a useless tracer. And never engage with less than 2 blinks. A tracer without blinks is a dead tracer. It would be insanely hard and time consuming to cover every single role Tracer has in all the different team comps, so I'm just gonna talk about the most important ones that will give you a general idea of what to do as Tracer. The most obvious one is against Widow. Hide until she's in an easy to kill spot and then delete her. There's a support protecting her, you don't have to kill her. As long as you're contesting her, you are making your team fight a 3v4 and it should be an easy win. Same goes for any hit skin with a mercy pocket, by the way. When there's a tracer farming your team, it'll be your job to mark her, especially if your team is playing a poke heavy comp. If the enemy team is playing shit like junk and sim, you're gonna look at what supports they have. If they have an Anna, farm her until she opens the team chat and flames her team for not protecting her. However, if they play something like Kiriko Lucio, you're better off just swapping. But for the people that only know how to play Tracer and are garbage at every other hero like I am, try to fall back to your team and just pressure their tank to farm free pulses. Don't underestimate the damage Tracer does with a full clip. If you have a Pharah on your team, your job is to contest the enemy hit skin, and if you can kill him, you basically already won the fight, since your Pharah should easily clean up. But even if you can't kill him, your Pharah will love you for the space you are creating for her. As Tracer, you should basically always be contesting the biggest threat, or farm their subs, and if your subs get farmed, don't forget to peel for them. You can easily deny a flank and be 2 seconds later in the fight already. Many people still don't understand how game-changing splitting people's attention is, so here's an example of how my team made it a 4v5 by me literally just shooting the air. This is only low masters and won't be as effective in higher ranks, but still really important. A quick side note, plays like this will be more effective depending on how much of a threat your opponents think you are. If they know you aren't gonna do much anyway, they won't bother turning around a second time. Another important thing is taking off angles to pressure tanks, especially against Ramatra and Ryan. This works wonders. I don't have any good clips of this, so I'm just gonna show what I mean in a custom game, which shouldn't be a problem since this isn't really complicated. This works especially good on King's Row, but also on any other map, and if the enemies can contest the hero, basically getting the point for free. Of course, most of the time this won't work as good as in a clip, and people will try to contest you, especially in higher ranks, but even if you make the tank retreat just a small amount, it helps your team immense. Now to the probably most important part, cover usage. You'll always need to memorize your surroundings like corners, cars, doors, basically everything that can give you cover. I once heard a Tracer saying, "Oh wow, 3 people turned around for me, I thought we were playing in high elo, but I guess not." And she would be right if she wouldn't have died in less than 2 seconds. While yes, normally this isn't the optimal play in high elo since they will get punished for it by your team, but that's only the case if the Tracer manages to stay alive for a decent amount of time. If 3 people can just turn around and instantly kill you, it certainly was the correct play for them. There's no way a team of random ranked teammates can capitalize on 3 enemies that turned around for 2 seconds. Many Tracers just expect the enemy team to not turn around and just let them 1v1 their backline, and so they flame their team as soon as 3 people turn around and kill them, which makes absolutely no sense. So please don't be that kind of Tracer and instead learn from your mistakes. You either need to isolate your 1v1s or just be an unkillable annoying mosquito in their backline. Now, I really don't recommend coping my keybinds, since they are pretty weird to be honest, but just make sure that your pulse bomb is on a key that doesn't restrict your movement like shift, and everything else is just personal preference. You have to know the map like your hometown and that you grew up. You can't just blink in and then look around and start to think about how you can safely blink out again. Try to do some backwards blinking at some easy spots in your comp games to get a feeling for it, and soon it will be second nature to not look where you are blinking. If you are new to Overwatch, I'd suggest going into a custom game and just blink around the map backwards and sideways without looking. This will help you get a feel for your blink distance while also learning the maps and the different covers on each map. If you aren't doing much and feel like you can't do much more besides having good mechanics and decision making, don't feel bad. It's most likely on your team. Tracer's not like Sojourn and can 2v5 the whole team. Tracer shines at being extremely versatile and can fill almost any role your team needs. However, if everyone on your team is an actual AI, you won't be able to get much value. Don't get me wrong, you can definitely hard carry as Tracer, but just not the kind of hard carrying a good hitscan player could do. Since all they need is a Mercy following them around, Tracer needs everyone on their team to at least understand the fundamentals of the game, which sadly isn't always the case. Use your pulse bomb as often as possible. Don't hold on it for too long. You gotta abuse the fact that you have the fastest generating ult in the game. Also, you should learn some trigger discipline. If you watch pros play Tracer, you see that as soon as they start missing their shots, they will stop shooting for a sec and fix their aim. While this can be said about almost any hit scan, it's especially important for Tracer, since she only has 30 bullets that deal a measly amount of 220 damage per clip, so accurate accuracy is really important. Now I'm just gonna add some final thoughts that are pretty self-explanatory but still worth mentioning, and rank Tracer's matchups in form of a tier list. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments or on my Twitch where I'm streaming every day. Thank you for listening, and if you found any of this helpful, I'd appreciate a thumbs up and maybe even a sub if you want to see more Tracer content. Goodbye everyone.
Check.